Hey friends, welcome back to another day in the life lockdown vlog. Today's job is, as usual, to try and be as productive as possible while also having a nice time along the way. As usual, I wake up at 8 AM with my alarm, and as usual, it's an ongoing struggle to negotiate myself out of bed. I just lie there doing absolutely nothing for half an hour, and then I remember that I've got the iPad on my bedside table, so I bust that out and do my morning journaling practice on Notion. At 9 AM, a solid hour after waking up, I finally managed to negotiate myself out of bed and into the shower. I weigh myself on the Wi-Fi enabled scales. Currently I'm 72.46 kilograms with 16% body fat percentage, whatever that means. And then by 9:20 I'm out of the shower. I make my morning cup of coffee and pour some boiling water into this plastic thingy that makes me some oats. While I consume my morning sustenance, I do some more writing on Notion, and then from 10 AM it's the somewhat weekly team meeting with the A team on Zoom. So for half an hour, Christian, Angus, Elizabeth and I chat about what we're doing in terms of videos, articles, podcasts and Skillshare classes for the next month or so. At 10:30 I take advantage of my gastrocolic reflex and sit on the toilet. What was meant to be a 5-minute job turns into half an hour of watching covers of John Mayer songs on YouTube on my phone, and then at 11, as my legs are feeling dead, I remembered that I'm meant to be a productivity guru, so I leave the bathroom and station myself on the sofa. I practice a bit of In the Blood by John Mayer on the guitar, and then procrastinate on my phone for another 20 minutes doing God only knows what. By this time, it's 11:20, and so I decide to stop being a complete waste man and do something more useful with my life. So as usual, to mark my move from waste man to productivity grease monkey, I make some more coffee with the Chemex, and then I sit on the sofa with my iPad Pro and Magic Keyboard, which is my favorite casual writing setup. I ask Siri to play the Apple Music Pure Country radio station on the HomePod, and then from 11:30 to noon, I reread one of my favorite books, Anything You Want, 40 Lessons for a New Kind of Entrepreneur by Derek Sivers. We're planning a video for the book club series distilling the main insights from the book, but it's proving to be a little bit tricky because it's a collection of 40 short lessons. So instead, as I'm rereading it, I think about which bits particularly resonated with me the first few times that I read it, and I try to figure out how I can present this in a nice way on video. At 12:05, I decide to take a break, but I'm still in the mood to do something useful, so I continue working through Justin Guitar's music theory course. We revisit chord triads that I'm very familiar with on the piano, but I realized that they're a thing on the bottom 3 strings of the guitar as well, which is a game-changing insight. I work at this for around an hour, and then at 1 PM I grab some lunch, which today is halloumi with rice and peas from the Fitness Kitchen. While waiting for the Tupperware to warm in the microwave, I bust out some weird tricep exercises with the resistance bands and pull-up bar. I grab a cheeky beverage of pear and barley water squash, and then while eating, I watch some more music theory lessons on Justin Guitar because I'm kind of on a roll of inspiration with the whole guitar thing. And even though obviously motivation is a myth, I think it's helpful to take advantage of bursts of motivation when we do have it. From 1:40 PM, I spend half an hour sorting out some general admin on the computer, gearing up for the launch of Liberty Medics, a new business that me and some friends have set up. And then from 2 to 3 PM, I do some more productive procrastination on the guitar and spend a distressingly long amount of time shooting a thumbnail for this vlog. I look at the time, realize it's 3 PM, and realize that I haven't really done anything useful for the past 3 hours. Oh well, there goes my status as a productivity guru. At 3 PM, I make the final coffee of the day to get me out of my slump and into a productive mood. It's a bit dangerous having caffeine at 3 PM because it stays in your body for ages and it can reduce the quality of our sleep. But it's fine today because I've got a twilight shift tomorrow at 4 PM, so I can afford to stay up late reading paranormal romance fiction and have a lie-in tomorrow morning. I spend some time setting up the overhead rig to get a shot of the coffee from above. I want to get this overhead shot. This is how I procrastinate these days when I'm doing a vlog, right? I set up these ridiculous shots and it just makes everything take about 4 times longer than it should. But oh well, it's all good. I also get a delivery of the Joby Telepod, a fancy new tripod for my phone, so I do a cheeky unboxing and play around with that for a little bit. Finally, at 3:25 PM, it's time to get back to work. I switch my desk over to standing mode, which annoyingly involves fiddling around with my studio lighting setup, and I switch over to my colorful keyboard, which is a nicer typing experience than the Apple Magic Keyboard. From 3:30, I spend an hour writing more stuff for some upcoming videos, and I have some more chats with my team about our upcoming content. I look through our video ideas database on Notion to see if there's anything that we can move from idea to reality. At 4:50, energized from this hour of standing and typing away, I decide I'm going to continue my daily challenge of writing 1,000 words per day. I move over to the sofa with the iPad, which seems to be my dedicated writing device, and fully intend to bash out some more writing, but I make the mistake of browsing Twitter, and then fall down a rabbit hole of reading articles and watching videos related to the Black Lives Matter protests. I tweet briefly about it, retweet a few things, and wonder if there's anything more I could be doing with my platform to help. Next thing I know, it's 6:15 PM, and I've been depressed about this stuff for the past hour. I decide to get back to #productivity for whatever that's worth. Today's the first day of a 30-day singing class that I'm taking online, so I watch the introductory video and then I record a video for the first project, which involves sharing my story, musical background, and talking about my favorite genres of music. Then I sing a bit of Country Roads by John Denver as an introductory video. Initially, I cringe a bit inside at having to talk about this stuff on video to this random group of strangers, which I don't normally do. But then I think, you know what, screw it. I've paid for this class and I want to improve my singing, so I'm going to take it seriously and I'm going to do all of the exercises that the coach assigns each day. By 7:30, I've recorded my intro, monologue, and song, and so I eat some chicken takeaway while doing a quick edit on Final Cut Pro and uploading it to YouTube as an unlisted video to share with the class. By 7:50, dinner's done, and so I wash the dishes and then procrastinate on the piano until 8:15. At this point, I decide to do a final burst of work for the day to get my word count up to 1,000 words. This takes me a solid 50 minutes as I write about luck, serendipity, and how to maximize it, off the back of a discussion that I had with my friend Bobby Siegel during a YouTube live stream earlier in the week. Through this, I end up revisiting an episode of the Farnham Street podcast that I heard in October 2019 and took a few notes on at the time. Revisiting this episode makes me stumble across some pretty cool ideas that I'd forgotten, which is one of the nice things about note-taking. I don't trust my dumbass brain to actually remember anything, and so I like to take notes on the stuff that I read, watch, and listen to, but I like to take those notes in a way that I will stumble across them again, because otherwise I might not even remember that they exist. I finish this writing stuff by 9:10, and then I decide to do a final few #productive things as a bit of a wind down. First, I make myself a cup of caffeine-free chamomile tea, and then I sit down to work through an online course on Brilliant, who are very kindly sponsoring this video. Brilliant is an amazing platform for online courses in maths, science, and computer science, and I'm working my way through their computer science series these days, trying to build a more legit understanding of the field. I quite like working through these courses because they have a lot of interactive elements and challenges along the way, which helps exercise my mind in a nice guided fashion. If you also think that learning is quite fun and you want to join me in taking some of these courses on Brilliant, head over to brilliant.org/Ali, and the first 200 people to visit that link will get 20% off the annual premium subscription. Anyway, at 9:40, I move over to the piano to continue practicing learning how to read sheet music. I sort of have this new rule for myself that I have to be productive before 10 p.m, but after 10 p.m, I'm not allowed to do anything explicitly productive, unless I really feel like it. And so I intend to do only around 20 minutes of piano practice, but I get quite absorbed by it in trying to play stuff from Lord of the Rings soundtrack and from Phantom of the Opera, and then I end up just screwing around on the piano a little bit. It's not particularly productive because it's not really deliberate practice, but oh well, it's fun, and this is my wind down time for the night, so it's all good. At 10:30, I get up off the piano and think about whether I want to get an early night in bed, but I find that I'm still pretty hyped and I've got some energy left to expend. So I find some more articles to read and take notes on from the stuff that I added to my residence calendar last year. People sometimes ask when I make the time to relax, but to be honest, I find this sort of stuff quite fun. Like, it's just really kind of fun taking notes from random articles that you read once upon a time. And it's quite relaxing anyway, so it doesn't really feel like work. Finally, at 11 p.m, I sense my concentration beginning to wane, and so I upload the vlog footage to Google Drive, get ready for bed, type out my daily reflection on the iPad, and then read a bit more on my Kindle before calling it a night. Here is a playlist of more day in the life videos. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Good night.